maybe questions on Zoom, because most of those are just questions you had.
For you, Dennis. Thanks, ladies and gentlemen. The Rural City of Wangaratta live stream. Clause 91.4 of the Governance and Meeting Conduct Local Law provides the following: that this public meeting is being recorded to improve access to the meeting for our community. The recording will be retained by Council in accordance with Council's legal obligations. As a visitor in the public gallery, your presence may be recorded. Ladies and gentlemen, I wish to acknowledge the Bangarang people as our traditional owners of the land on which we are meeting, and pay our respects to their elders past, present and emerging, and pay our respects to any other First Nation people that may be with us today. Would you please stand for the prayer? Almighty God, we humbly ask Thee to bless and guide this council in its deliberations, so that we may truly preserve the welfare of the community, welfare of the people on whom we serve. Amen. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. This is a special council meeting. The only item up for discussion tonight is in relation to the solar farm that was brought up in the previous council meeting last Tuesday. There is no public question time on any other issues. There is obviously question time in relation to this item, that anyone can come forward and talk in relation to it. There will be a vote by councillors to see where the motion will lay from there. Just as an acceptance and apologies, Councillor Curry is not with us today, and will be back next week. There's no conflict of interests, and I'll change over now, hand over to officers' reports. Item 7.1, planning application for renewable energy facility and solar installation. I'll hand it over to our director, Stephen Swart.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This item is for Council to consider a planning permit application for solar installation in Laceby. The item was presented to the Council meeting last week, and the officer's recommendation to issue a notice of decision to grant the permit was lost at that meeting. Today we're asking Council to consider making a decision as required under the Planning and Environment Act.
Thank you. Thank you, Stephen. So are you going to put the motion forward there, Stephen? Sorry?
So the officer's recommendation remains the same as it was at last week's council meeting, and it's up on the screen.
Okay, Harvey.
I'd like to move a alternate motion, Mr. Mayor. This will be that the council confirms the motion to grant a planning permit for the planning application PIN 19/158.01 to establish a renewable energy facility at Laceby was not carried and therefore lost at the meeting of the 25th of March. No action of March 2020. February, take no action to grant the planning permit. Number 2, to refuse to grant the planning permit, with respect to the planning application PLN APP 19/15801 for the use and development of a renewable energy facility, solar installation and alteration to the access to the road in the road zone category 1 at lot 1 TP 253930 Wangaratta Kilferry Road, Laceby, on the grounds as stipulated. And 2, advise the applicants, submitters and referral authorities of the Council's decision. The grounds for refusal the proposed use and development is not considered to facilitate the development which achieves the objectives of planning in Victoria and planning objectives set out in the Wangaratta planning scheme. 2. Consider the range of relevant planning policies and conflicting policies objectives. The proposed use and development would not produce a net community benefit in the surrounding neighbourhood and community due to the loss of production from high quality agricultural land. Reduce visual amenities both to the immediate neighbouring properties and when viewed from the adjacent road. Exposure to bushfire risk is considered to be high due to the local conditions surrounding the vulnerability of communities due to the development of this project. Plus, to comply with the CFA's renewable energy is an installation guidelines, all sections. That's the motion, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Benton. Are there any questions from the gallery or statements to be made?
Yes.
Sorry, just before you do. I'll just come back. I'll get the seconder once the public questions, because by our local law we shouldn't be then going to the public after we've got a seconder because the motion's on the table. So I will go back. If you'd like to come up and say something now.
Thank you. Again, Brendan Murphy of License Energy Australia. Very quick question. Are we allowed to view a third-party ABC 730 report via video just before commencing questions? Any chance? It's regarding the New Merca Solar Farm, information.
Now, you mean? Right.
Yeah. Is it available to put up on there?
Not
It won't. It doesn't take long. It's a very short article. And then I do have questions.
I think we've got to. If you can get it on into the computer there, Jess, can you do that or not?
I can try.
Okay.
Is it on USB?
Yes.
So I'll just have to check.
Yeah, there might be sound on it. We'll give you a minute to get that up and going. If not, we'll go back.
I can put it on here. If that's good.
That one?
Yes, thank you. When that opens, just click on that, and then there should be a link just sitting in there. Just click on that main document.
Mr. Chairman, can I ask what the question is with showing the video?
Well, it's at my discretion to give the applicant some leeway in relation to not just a question, but he did say there'll be a question coming from this after the quick explanation from the video, so I'll allow it. Thank you, Councillor Clark.
short advertising video before it.
30 seconds.
If you just want to hit that large button, or you go skip ads, if you go just to the side there and just enlarge the screen, it'd be great, thank you. And I'm not sure if there's any sounds. On your computer as well, was it?
That's muted.
Just also down the bottom of the screen, you might find that bottom right hand side, there might be the volume turned down.
All right, we might give it a miss there, guys. We're not going to see any great things from that. I do notice that it's 7 minutes. I don't really want to watch it for 7 minutes. Yeah, let's give it a miss.
Yeah,
Councillor's happy with that? Right,
thank you, Matt.
sorry. Continue on that.
Okay, firstly, thank you again for your time today and for allowing us to sit with the rural city of Wangaratta Council, given the formal outcome, obviously to determine the formal outcome of the proposed Laceby Solar Farm. As mentioned Tuesday night, I wasn't going to get up and speak. We aren't a company that wants to be seen to be persuading the councillors or yourself, Mayor, CEO, or the planning department. And it's just not us, and we won't be doing so in the future either. I'll just do very quickly on myself. I am local. I'm born and bred from Tangam, Kiwa, country boy. I currently live in Albury. But the northeast country, even here, holds a really special place in my heart for growing up, from footy, playing against the Wayne guys, camping trips, etc. Bison Energy, we are a renewable energy developer and investor. You probably don't know this, and I'm not sure if anyone can answer this, but the question for starters is anyone aware of where our Australian office is that we do all operations out of in Australia? Thank you, Councillor Benton. Correct. Out of all the big places in obviously the cities all throughout Australia, we, yes I'm local, but my bosses decided to support a regional city, which local staff have brought in from international qualified people as well into a regional area to grow that area. So if anything goes wrong with this solar farm, as I mentioned the other night, there was a lot of queries and questions about decommissioning. What happens if we just walk away? I personally take that on as being a local to the northeast area really, really hard. As in, we aren't here to do that. We won't be doing that, and that's a statement. I can't go and hide in the big towers of the city and say, oh, you know what? Stuff Wangaratta or Wodonga. I'm not going to go back there again. They've refused our solar farm. Not the case. I live 40 minutes up the road. I am as local to the northeast area as all of you are. The proposal and all the objections raised holds great disappointment to me. I, along with the local, with a lot of the nation, want to see change, and I think you agree. The way things that were done in the past aren't necessarily the best way to do things in the future. Questions to the council. For you to walk into a bank or McDonald's today, was it the same as it was in the past? Yes, this has relevance. No, Mr. Benton, Councillor Benton, you shake your head. Good question. It's been automated, hasn't it? I too just want to be someone to walk into McDonald's or a bank and speak to someone. Is the way we farm these days the same as it was in the past? And I'll ask you, Councillor Bustle, you mentioned a lot of farming the other night. Did your father or your grandfather farm, or do you farm the same way as they do today?
No.
Thank you. You're right, smarter machines, bigger machines. Dad still owns my granddad's Massey Ferguson. It doesn't have anything on it, except a seat. Now, with everything automated, more chemicals to spray, help grow things quicker on the land, kill pesticides, exactly. It's changed. Is the way we communicate the same? Here I am sitting here with all this stuff in front of me, which is quite rude. Might ask the youngest one, Councillor Fitzpatrick. Do we communicate the same way as we used to, even in a matter of probably 5 or 10 years ago? Correct. Most, if not all of us, have these mobile phones, call it a computer if you like, in our pockets. Most young people don't even know how to go out for a nice dinner these days at a restaurant without having a phone sitting on the table in front of them, or even having a proper communication, a discussion over dinner. Kids can't even spell right these days because of the way they do text messages. Has the climate changed? I'll ask Councillor Clark. Question for you. We are in a drought and experiencing some of the hottest weather on record. The drought will recover, and I think Councillor Bustle's probably with his farming background as well, and possibly yourself too, have been through plenty. Always has recovered, and the cycle will go around again. But we can't deny the climate is changing. So, if for better or worse, and I'll question you now, if it's agreed, do you agree that we do things today in
You're
today's
asking that
climate?
question through the chair, aren't you?
Ah, yes, sorry.
Yeah, and I'll direct it to Councillor
Great,
Brennan.
thank you.
Thank you.
Councillor Rees, is it, or Mayor Rees?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I guess I'm questioning, potentially through you to Councillor Clark, whether
Mr Mayor,
things
I'm
need
not
to
going to
change.
answer questions.
Okay.
I'm not here to answer questions. I'm here to hear their question as to why we refuse to permit.
Okay. Thank you. You can continue on.
Thank you. I have a saying, if nothing changes, then nothing changes. It's pretty basic, I agree, but why do we keep doing the same thing? Since Tuesday night's meeting, for whatever happened, it doesn't matter. We aren't looking to take any action. It's just shown us a communication back and forth between a company, a local business, and international, and yourselves up to council. Obviously, key to this is communication. And we've given great thought to the next steps and options that we have going forward from that night. As you can see, I don't have a solicitor here with us. With the size of company that we are, I just chose to come and talk tonight. There's no action being taken against the council for any, the word probably wouldn't be misconduct, but just for anything that went wrong on Tuesday night. I've just got my planning consultants with me. That's all that's here. They know everything. They made these documents that, I guess, question, and Councillor Rees, I ask, was the full documents, I guess, actually read, as in the application documents being the town planning report that I hold here in my hand, or further documentation, not just your office's conditions or recommendations report.
Sure. The report was given to planning there, and the application to planning, and it was highlighted through us at our briefing sessions on what was important and what was considered to be important. Obviously, you saw the application was to be approved through the planning department, and then it was our councillors. And I'll just reiterate, it certainly wasn't the CFA, the CEO or the officers have no say in the way these motions go. Mm-hmm. As you can see, the officers' report was to approve. Mm-hmm. It was councillors that didn't go ahead with the recommendation. Again, that's why we're back here today, because a decision still needs to be made. Apart from that being approved under the Planning Act, something needs to be done planning-wise to either approve it or the reasons why we are not approving it that way.
Correct. We look forward to that motion too. Now, you may decide to vote against the officer's recommendation again, that's fine, but I believe things happen for a reason, and the outcome of last Tuesday night has definitely brought us back here today to, I believe, work together, move forward and make a change. Mayor Rees, your comments in the Chronicle and the Border Mail are correct. These type of developments may be fully taken out of the hands of councils in the very near future. Personally, that's a really disappointing day. These developments are popping up in much smaller parcels. Yes, we have some as well in development in Victoria, being on these 30 and 40 acres that you mentioned. We chose to involve the council in this application. We didn't have to. As part of the Victorian Renewable Guidelines and state determining process for anything above 1 megawatt, we could have gone straight to the Planning Minister's office. But, and I emphasise, we didn't. We wanted every single person here on this board to be involved in the decision, either for or against, to work in with us for this proposal.
How are you going now with that? Are you almost at an end?
Are we in a hurry?
Yes.
Okay.
It's normally question time on any of the officers here that may be able to answer your reports here, and that's directed to Stephen Swart.
Yep.
Yeah, council do need to make a decision if we need to. You obviously only got half a page left there, I imagine.
Something like that. Councillor Rees, I am, putting this forward to Councillor Fuller through yourself. Councillor Fuller, you mentioned on Tuesday night there are so many elements to this, and I quote your words, "I haven't got all the answers in this instance," referring to statements which Councillor Bustle and Benton raised. Therefore, you would vote against this. Questions I have, Councillor Fuller, is are you aware of any permanent damage in facilities like this going forward on agricultural land?
I think that's... Short answer is no. The long answer is outside the context of what I actually said in terms of responding to Councillor Bustle. I think I was responding to Councillor Curry.
Okay. Councillor Curry's obviously absent today.
Point of order, Mr. Mayor. Sorry, this is just not a piece of question time. So can we ask that the questions asked so we can please move on to the session, please?
Yep.
Thank you, Councillor Fitzpatrick. Yep. I'll make a ruling that that your speech is just about over. If you'd like to finalise now, without directing questions at councillors that way.
Yes. Some comments were made the other night just based on some objectives which I thank you here tonight. I've mentioned a couple of times. Is the council also aware that some of the objectors have been in touch with us regarding extending this solar farm onto their land?
No, that's not to our knowledge, so we certainly haven't been told that unless you've referred it to Stephen Swart's department. It hasn't been referred to us, so we don't know about any of that, and we're not here to vote on that. We're here to vote on the motion forward, which Councillor Benton has made. So, without further ado, if that's the end of your conversation, or the end of your talk, we'll get on further to that.
Just a quick one about the benefits to the Wangaratta City Council. I guess I was directed to Councillor Benton. It was actually a statement made by Councillor Curry on the night. I'll direct it, sorry, to Councillor Rees, my apologies. There was no mention, it is in the towning, in the application documents about the, I guess, investment and the possibilities, what this brings to the rural city of Wangaratta through jobs, supportive accommodation, fuel stations, repair shops, possibly even schools as families move to the area. The list can actually go on. I've got a bus company is moving staff from in town to out there because there will not be a big parking lot out on site. All these kind of matters. Have you considered the input that a project like this brings to the council?
I'll answer that question in the end, and yes, we have. All councillors will have considered those jobs because we had a solar farm up for approval or disapproval back in 2018. I think Ken brought us the decision. All those things were listened to then and talked about, and again has been looked and answered by councillors during that time. So I thank you for your words today.
Thank you.
And yeah, we'll wait and see how the vote goes again this time. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Now, would anybody else like to talk on the current motion or ask a question? No? No? Ben, did you want to come forward, mate? Just push the button again. Lynn, please say your name.
Linton Wadley.
Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Trees. Just can we have the motion read out again from
Sure.
Harvey's motion?
Please.
To fully understand it, please.
Yep. Councillor Ben, could you read that, or would you right to go? Or Stephen, would you like to read that motion? Have you got all that motion in front of you by Councillor Benton?
I think so, so I can read it out if I can piece it together. So the motion is that council confirms that the motion to grant planning permit for planning application number, and the number's up there, to establish a renewable energy facility at Laceby was not carried at the council meeting last week, and we'll insert the date there. The second part to that is that council refused to grant a permit with respect to this planning permit application for the use and development of a renewable energy facility and alteration to access to a road in a road zone 1 category, road zone category 1 at lot 1 TP 253930 Wangaratta Kilfira Road, Laceby, on the grounds as stipulated. And the third part is advise the applicant, submitters and referral authorities of council's decision. In terms of the grounds that I referred to under point 2, they include, the first point is the proposed use and development is not considered to facilitate development which achieves the objectives of planning in Victoria and planning objectives set out in the Wangaratta planning scheme. Second point is considering the range of relevant planning policies and conflicting policy objectives, the proposed use and development would not produce a net community benefit to the surrounding neighbourhood and community due to loss of production of high quality agricultural land, reduced visual amenity both to immediate neighbouring properties and when viewed from the adjacent road network. Exposure to bushfire risk is considered to be high due to local conditions surrounding the site and the vulnerability of communities due to the development of this proposal, and to comply with the CFA's guidelines for renewable energy installation, all sections.
Did you get that one, Lynn?
Yeah, I understand better.
Okay, thank you. Always better a second time. Yes, please, come forward. Thanks, Ian. Just say your name, full name, please. No, it's just the little man speaking. That's it.
Ian Wiedemann, I'm one of the 10 objectors to this proposal, and I thank the representative from Bison for the history lesson. But we, as I said in my proposal, none of us are opposed to solar farms. He gave us a history on the progress over the years of solar farms. None of us have been opposed to solar farms, and we're all for anything that's good for the Wangaratta City Council. We're just opposed to the site, and I think the councillors have been through a number of reasons we've brought up that made it unsuitable. So we just reiterate that. And as far as mentioning about one of the objectors wondering if we could so he could extend the solar farm onto his farm. We've worked pretty closely with all the people that have been objecting, and this comes out of the blue to us. We have got no idea of this, and I reject it completely. So I don't have really any other questions. I thought I went through it well enough the other night.
Good, thanks Ian. If there's no other questions from the gallery, I'll confirm Councillor Benton as the mover of that motion. Councillor Benton, and seconded by Councillor Clark. Would any councillor like to talk for or against the motion? Councillor Benton first.
I don't think there's much more that can be said, and I said a fair bit on last week in relationship to my concerns and relationship. And I did say at that time, I'm not specifically against solar farms. I am a little bit disappointed with the referral authorities that haven't got enough rigour to make sure that the community is protected under the guidance and guidelines that are there. One of the things moving forward, I find it difficult in the restoration that we have DCPs in urban planning. We don't seem to have any ability to be able to have a control over the restoration in farming zones, and I think it's our difficulty trying to deal with a planning scheme that is very bureaucratic, and yet we've got to go forward as people that represent the community to make sure that their amenities is upheld to the highest standard that they wish it to be. And that's why I think if we can keep going forward and putting these things up, if the authorities and the proposal and the applicants want to be able to do forward, make sure that your guidelines fit with all your relevant authorities. And I don't think there'll be any problem, but they're not there. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Benton. Councillor Bussell.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. It's great to see that I flushed Bison out last week. It's great. I wish I had said more last week. I did have concerns about the fire, and I expressed that at the last council meeting. But from a straight planning point of view, I don't think we can defend a refusal he's done, because you've got to stick to the facts that's on the table, and I think the officers did a pretty good job with controls, so I certainly won't be voting for this motion. Thanks, Mr. Mayor.
Councillor Clark, do you want to say something for or against the motion?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'll certainly be supporting the motion that we refuse the permit. I do believe that it's high quality agricultural land. I've had a lot of involvement with some of the people that live out there in my previous profession as an accountant, and I believe that they have made really good money out there. The other thing that concerns me, apart from the fire risk, which Councillor Benton has alluded to, is the planting of the whatever they're going to plant for amenity of, and we had some discussion about the type of trees that they were going to use, and that hasn't been satisfied to me.
Thank you, Councillor Clark. Councillor Fitzpatrick, do you want to say anything? And Councillor Fuller doesn't. I will. When we came on the council, my thing when coming on the council under former Mayor Clark was that we needed and wanted economic development in our community. As I stated with the previous solar farm, that's economic development. It's building, it's bringing jobs into us, it's continuation of jobs. They've got to clean solar panels, they've got to clean the grass around them. To me, it is great economic development. I've always stated that. Farming, as I stated, Councillor Clark's report there, that it's good agricultural land, only as good as the farmer that's farming it. You could sit there and do nothing for the next 20 years and produce nothing off the land. So this way it will be producing solar energy. I was walking back from having a coffee over the road at the Performing Arts Centre after the Tuesday's meeting. This was on Wednesday morning. I was accosted by a group of 5 adults and mature adults in their 60s having a go at our council for not approving that solar farm. He said, the country's burning around us, We talk about renewable energies and stopping these fires and digging coal, and here's our second chance that if Benella's approved 2, we've knocked back 2. So as far as economic development goes, these councillors don't really want it, as far as I can see. So I won't be approving this motion either, moving forward, as I didn't the other day, as it might have been confused in that, as I didn't have to vote, but I certainly did not feel the vote was being lost of Councillor Benton's. But I agree, good people out there, and I appreciate the way you've come forward and put your stories across, so thank you very much. I'll now hand it to Councillor Benton as a right of refusal. Thank you, Councillor Benton. Right of.
Thanks, Councillor Mayor. I really do not understand the last few comments that you made around about the renewable energy situation, but anyway, that's your opinion, and I'll still stick to the point that I'm not totally against solar farms. I'm just totally against not being able to make sure that the community is protected to their utmost. We have had every day the summer period about community trying to make sure we are safe and protection is an example, and I think our referral authorities have let us down, and that's why I'd like to make sure that this is done properly from the start. And if it comes back to us, it should be addressed in the future. It shouldn't have to go to VCAT. This is where we're going to be forced to make sure that some people are going to be able to notice and listen to the small people out there.
Thank you, Councillor Benton. I'll put the motion to a vote. All those in favour of this motion moving forward, please raise their hand. 2, 3, 4. And those against? The motion is carried.
Division, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, division, and noted Councillor Bustles vote for no. Can you all raise your hands, those saying yes to the motion? Councillor Benton, Councillor Clark, Councillor Fuller and Councillor Fitzpatrick. Thank you. And those against? Councillor Bustle and Councillor Rees. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your input here today. It's a quick meeting. Thanks very much, and we'll see you again. Cheers.